All right, let's breeze through and show how I created this piece for Martial Robots, day 6. I'm going to condense 2.5 hours into about 6 minutes, so hang on tight. Here we go. Here's my initial sketch, posted to Instagram. Gives some idea about what I'm going to do. Jump into Maya. Everything's going to be based on very simple shapes, cylinders, cubes, a lot of box modeling here. Everything's going to be made from scratch. On this piece, with the exception of the hand, which I've been starting to reuse some of my hands because it takes a little while to set them up, and once I have them, I'm good to go, and I can change the proportions for each one. Here I am working on the head, detailing out that hood for the light piece. The initial sketch had one front-facing light, and I think I decided it would look a lot nicer if I had a front and a back. Thinking ahead for if I ever wanted to animate these guys, I would like that opportunity to have front and back lights. So this is the head before I decided to do that. Again, just simple box modeling. It's really takes no time at all to block out some stuff. And again, this is like the style I'm going for, is keeping it very simple, not too much detail. Repurposing that hood for the shoulder, which I like doing that, trying to mimic some of the different shapes throughout. For the chest piece here, I want to do something a little bit different. So I'm thinking about this kind of a worker's vest type of piece molded into this chest. I'll go ahead and later separate this out as well. I had some problems initially here. I wanted to keep everything quad, so I had to go back and clean up my geometry really quickly here. Decided to mirror it out. Work my way down, waist, the neck, torso. Here's some of the start of the leg. Doing this little pant legs here. Here comes the leg. Again, thinking about proportions. I like to move stuff around early on, just right here, jiggering stuff around, just how it feels. I love doing the feet. Every feet have a nice opportunity to do kind of unique things with the boots. Again here, my spacing for these segments on the limbs, I like to kind of do it on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes the design will warrant more or less segments, so I like to do those custom. Here I am finessing a little bit more. Starting the arm. I just copied the leg for that one, changed up the proportion a little bit, add this shoulder connector. And I think I'm getting ready here to import the hand. And I'll size it up. And it's got a very rudimentary parent-child relationship here, so I can easily take these groups and move them around, pose them out. And again, if I was going to animate this, it would be rigged up and it would be built at a T-pose. But for now, I'm just going to go in and just treat this as kind of like a dummy maquette, cut and paste pieces, move them around. And I'll typically work on one side and then mirror it over when needed. Here I am making the back of the head. Then I decided to, next to that middle head, just put a box in here and smooth it out a little bit. Do some repositioning. At one point, I think I accidentally froze my transformation, so when I created some details for this head, I had to go in and do it by hand. Oh, here I am doing the bent arm. Again, this is a case-by-case basis. I kind of like the idea of, this had multiple, there's like maybe like it was extended, so I'm going here and just adding some more segments by hand. Just blocking it out, keeping it simple. These are the bolts I made for the plate for the head. Again, I accidentally froze my transformation, so I had to built at an angle. No big deal here. Drop these in quickly. Scale them, duplicate, clean them up. Again, the modeling portion only took about an hour and a half, and then I spent the most of the time doing the rendering and Keyshot. Here I am doing some creasing on the geo here before I do the smoothing. There's ways that you can bring this geo in. If you do the 3 key and the preview smooth, you can bring it in and tessellate it in Keyshot. But I also like to hand apply my own smoothing here before I bring it in, because I can control the smoothing a little bit easier and then bring it in. Here's some of the reference before I go into Keyshot. So I'm keeping an eye on what the colors will look like and some of the costume cues. All right, so here I am in Keyshot, dropped in my plate. You can see that ground grid temporarily where I put it in, so I can kind of like line up and match the perspective. And then it's just a matter of dragging and dropping some materials in. And What I also did was, for this initial setup here, I'm just using the standard environment, but then I change it over to an outdoor one, which gives me a much more accurate outdoor integration with this backplate. Here I am screwing around with this light. I hadn't done anything like this before, so I was playing around with some textured glass, and then I figured out how I'm going to do some illumination, and I just duplicate that piece and set it as a point light source. But I have to look into that later and figure out how to do it the right way. Here it is with the outdoor light scene here, playing around with the scale and the positioning of the HDR environment. Some final tweaks here to the material. And that's all really it is. There's nothing magic to it. I'll say that the one thing that I'm finding is giving the magic sauce for these is when I go into Instagram, you'll see here in a second when it switches over, I'm selectively choosing my filters to get the one that pops the most, and I think that helps make a difference. So hope you guys enjoy this. Stay tuned for more, and thanks for following on Instagram.